documents. We are so happy to see you there. We know that today we have a very mixed audience we have the list here, Istanbul, Dubai, Kyoto, New York, London, Berlin, Seattle, Tallinn, Estonia, Lisbon, Beirut, Buenos Aires, Hamburg, Amsterdam, Peru. We are so happy to see you there. And this is the lobby of my documents. You are here in the virtual lobby of three theaters, Musantum, Kampnagel, Kaserne, Basel, and Kammerspiele, four theaters, sorry. And this is the second edition of my documents. Tonight, we are going to present Make Me Stop Smoking by Rabia Murray. My Documents is a program of lecture performances where artists from different fields present a personal research, a radical experience, a story that secretly obsesses them. So for this virtual version, I invited artists from different fields, visual arts, documentary film, dance, and they will delve into their personal archives. I've been doing this program, My Documents, since 2012, and usually we did it in theaters with audience sitting in front of us, and we did it in Buenos Aires, but also in other cities. But when Corona started and all my projects got canceled, like it happened to many artists, I started to think, what can we do to make art and support other artists from all parts of the world? And that's why I started to collect and think about this wonderful, like it's my dream team of artists for this version from different parts of the world. So you are going to see tonight an experience that starts now, and the artists will share via shared screen their archives, acting from their home stage, their new domestic stage. You will be able to comment and ask questions afterwards when we meet again in this lobby. Now you have your, now you have your microphones off, but you will have them on at the end to be able to share and speak with us. In this case, we are presenting a performance of Rabia Murray called Make Me Stop Smoking. In Make Me Stop Smoking, Rabia Murray reconstructs the radical heterogeneous landscape of Lebanon, destroyed by crises and wars, with the help of personal documents, videos, photos, newspaper clippings, and 8 witness reports. Rabia Murray, born in Beirut, currently lives in Berlin, and is a theater director, actor, visual artist, and playwright. His works include The Pixelated Revolution, So Little Time, Riding on a Cloud, Looking for a Missing Employee, Who is Afraid of Representation, and many others. Every weekend we have a new lecture performance. Next weekend we will have Blue House by Menji Sang. She will be transmitting from Hubei province in China, an amazing lecture performance about a bit of a diary on the Corona crisis, but also an archive on the story of the famine in China. Then we will have All Our Changes Will Be Lost by T. Metals from London, and he will delve into his notebooks that he wrote for over 30 years. Then we have Lázaro by Lagartijas Tiradas al Sol from Mexico City, and they will talk about an actor who decided to change his name and his face. And on the last weekend, we have Desireless by Tania Bruguera from La Habana, and she's delving into the archive of her mother. Her mother died not so long ago, and she will go into the story of all the objects she left. This program was curated by me, and I created this program years ago, but now in this version, I am doing it together with the dramaturg Viviana Mendes, and there is an amazing group of artists called Mix News who are doing the streaming for us so that we can see each other and talk to each other. soon you will disappear, but it's very important for us to know that you're there. This is not just streaming from a web page of a theater. This is a live performance. So, and there is no performance if you're not there. So please stay with us until the end, and goodbye now. Go back to spectators, the lights go off. The theater get dark. And we see you in a little bit. You're now teleported from panelists to spectators. Ravia, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Hello. Since I started doing theater and performances and doing videos, I've been obsessed with titles. I always had a hard time picking a good title for a new performance or a theater piece or a video. Maybe because I was looking for attractive titles. Titles that sounds like light and deep at the same time. Beautiful and intelligent. Catchy and intellectual. Easy to memorize, easy on the tongue, on the ears. And it took me a long time before settling on a title, and a good title. And I would ask people around me for their help. I would take their comments into consideration. I would hesitate, change, ask for help. Really, I lived under pressure. On one hand, there is the work and all the complications of the work. And on the other hand, there is the title of this work. What title shall we give for this new work? What name shall we give for this newborn? Yes, as would parents do when they have a newborn, like deciding on naming this newborn. Maybe also I've been obsessed with titles because I believe what we say in Arabic. المكتوب بينقرا من عنوانه. Translation. Message is read from its title. It's like the message is understood from its title. Yeah. So it took me a long time to understand that the title does not have to be related to the work. Yes. I give you an example. My name is Rabia. Rabia in English means spring, printemps en français. Do I look like printemps, like spring? You see that the title does not have to be related to the work, like two different things. And the moment, like the title it's given, it has like its dimension, its meaning. It takes a different meaning from what we intended to. Yes, it's the same way you can hate or love a name because of its holder or of the work. So my relation with titles has changed. With time, I had a solution to this really big problem. A list of good titles. Yes. Every time I would find like a word, a sentence, a phrase that could make a good title for a work, for an artwork, for a theater piece, I immediately write it down on a special notebook for titles. This way, I created lists of titles for my unknown projects. Yes, titles that, like titles for works that I don't know what they are yet. I will show you one of these lists. I think it's list number 15. Yeah, that's one of the lists. Okay, like this is translations. This is, I hate this title. I don't like it, but it's still in my notebook anyway. This is very political title. It should be a work about politics, I guess so. This I already did. Thriller. This I will talk about it later. This is a tragedy. Yeah, it's not funny at all. Not at all. This is based on a true story. Believe me. This is, I think it's not anymore good. This is a stolen title. And this is as well, stolen title. This, I think, could be an essay. Essay about images today. This is about Lebanon, I'm sure. About the politicians in Lebanon. This is a nice title. I like. It's easy to memorize, easy on the tongue. You know. Aha. This I have it long time ago, before this Zoom Assam, before Zoom meets. I think I want to do with this title something like comics. Yeah, I would ask someone to help me with drawings and etc. We'll see. This I've done already. This I wanted to do a book with this title, but someone did the book before me. What to do? And Make Me Stop Smoking. Make Me Stop Smoking is the title of this presentation that I chose it for unknown reason. Yeah. So since 1986, the year that I started to do theater, so 1986, very, very long time. Yeah, I'm a bit old. So when I started at that year, I've been collecting various materials, like cutouts from local newspapers, photographs, interviews, news stories, excerpts from television's programs, written ideas, proposals for performances, objects, press articles, and other things. Material from the past and still waiting to be used in the future. From time to time, I return to this material to see if any of it can be used in the present, like a piece of news, a photo, an idea worth working on, which might develop into an art project to present in the future. And it will speak about the present. When I present it in the future, it will talk about the present. Yes, so it's a material from the past to work on it in the future, to talk about the present of that future. So like it's a very complicated and complex process to talk about the present time. Yes, very complicated process. How do I speak about today without going back to yesterday and without thinking of tomorrow? How do I speak about the present, about now, when we know that this now has already passed, gone like this, and it's no more now? I wonder, how does a moment in the present keep on going as a moment in the present? I know that a moment can be just a moment and could be also as an eternal hell. After 20 years of collecting bits and pieces, I can say that today I possess what resembles an archive, and I call it my personal archive. My personal archive consists of 4 different types of collecting materials. One is the documentation of the projects I made and presented, like all the papers, writings, preparations, drawings, photographs related to my work. 2 is the journalistic archive related to my works as well, like so everything that is written about my works, my project, like articles, interviews, publicity, etc. 3, proposals that I wrote, ideas for upcoming and unfinished projects. 4, a general non-personal archive from newspapers, televisions, radio, and other sources related to the public sphere. Personally, I'm not interested in the first 2 types. Actually, I'm interested in the 3 and 4, these two types. Maybe because the first types are related to the past and the other two types are related to the future. Yes. So every element in my archive is waiting to take place in a work that I will do in the future. The problem, however, that I have kept many things and I don't know if I will live long enough to work on all of them. It's really depressing, really. It's the same feeling when I enter to a library and I see all these amazing books standing on the shelves and staring at me. And I would ask myself, like, how many years, actually, how many lives do I need in order to read all these books? How many lives? It's really depressing, no? And what is that all for? I mean, like, why should I collect all these things if I knew that I would not live long enough to work on them? Why would an artist collect material anyway? Do we collect material so it would keep us secure? That we will always have something to produce in the future? Like, is it a fear of being devoid of ideas and proposals? A fear of being unproductive, doesn't know what to do? To be a burden on the state or on the society or on our families, a member of from our families, for example? Is it a fear of the future? A fear of death? To clarify, my archive does not have the logic of institutional archives. I mean, my archive does not and is not archived or organized in any way. I'm not taking good care of it, not indexing it, not preserving it from any possible damage. I come across it all around my house. It has no specific place for safekeeping. At times, I stumble on it by chance. It lives with me. A part of it remains on my mind, follows me, and I don't know how to use it. It tires me to the point that I keep saying to myself, I must tear it up, destroy it, burn it, throw it away, get rid of it. And every time I'm about to do so, I say, stop, Rabia. ما تتهور. ما تتهور يا Rabia. Stop it. You don't know what might happen tomorrow. Yes, you might need something of it, and you will regret throwing it away. So I stop. And I keep it. It's really a very depressing situation. Very strange relationship. Material that has become part of my life. An archive that I invented, and it became part of my memory. This kind of memory is unlived, but it lives with me. It's an added memory. But the difference between my memories and my archive is that my own memory forgets, erases, transforms, and throws things without consulting me, without me knowing at all. Whereas this added memory, this personal archive, does not diminish. It doesn't change without my say-so, unless some catastrophes happens, of course. But as long as it is there, I can consult it, I can bring it at any time, read it. I remember everything in it if I so wish, and in details. So the idea of this presentation actually is to show you these two types of my archive, number 3 and number 4. On the basis, if I show it to you tonight, I will be able to move them to the other two types, 1 and 2, then they will belong to the past. This way, I will be finished with them. Done. Basta. Hence, this presentation is my attempt to get rid of parts of my personal archive, parts of it. So let's start. I took these photographs between 2003 and 2006. Every time I would visit a city outside Lebanon, I would photograph its sewers and the manholes. My plan was to collect pictures of all the sewers and manholes in the world. So I would make a portrait to each city out of its sewers. This is my aim. By the way, this one, it's not me who took this photo. Actually, someone sent it to me when he knew that I'm doing this collection. And it's from Palestine. To tell you that in 1948, with the declaration of the Israeli state, the Israelis started actually to change all the names of the streets, the villages, the towns, the cities, all the signs. They changed everything. So just like to cover and hide the history of the Palestinians. But they forgot only one detail. It was the sewers. And this is one of these photos. Let's go to my collection. As I travel a lot, so I have a lot, this is just one part of the collection. I will go a little bit fast. Okay, I stopped this project when my friend Hatem told me that it has already been done. And there's no reason to continue with this project. Yeah. He said that the publisher Tashan already printed the book, which is now available in all the bookstores around the world. I stopped it. I was so frustrated to the point that I decided to do a photo collection that no one has done it before. Yes, it was like a decision of me. So I started to think and concentrate to think about this collection that no one has done it before me. And I found an idea to photograph the street lamps. But before I started to do so, I thought maybe someone has done it before me. So give it a bit time, think more. So I thought and thought and thought and thought till I had this idea to photograph only one specific street lamp post-located between where I live, my apartment, and where I work. So every day I go from my home to the work, I would take a photograph of this street lamp, and when I come back to home, I take another photo. This way, I was sure that no one done this before me. Yeah, it's an original collection. Yeah, you know, like artists should be original. No, of course. So I will show you this lamp that I'm talking about. Okay, that's it. And here is the collection, or part of the collection. You know, I work in this place, in this institution, many, many years. So I have a lot of photos of this lamp. I have to confess that with time, I fell in love with this lamp, really. Yeah, but my wife didn't know about this love. It's just, yeah. I love it. I love you. You know, I have a lot of this. Let's go fast. So later, actually, I noticed that there is a relation between the two photo collections that I've done, which is the position of my head as a photographer. This is the two collections. Actually, the first one, the Sewers collection, which was taken in outside Lebanon, mainly in European cities. My head is dropped down, while in the street lamp collection, my head was lifted up to the sky. Something like this. So I was wondering, why is that in my city, I raise my face up to the sky, while in foreign cities, I stab my face to the ground? Is it something psychological, political, geopolitical? By the way, when I tried to take a photo of the sewers in Beirut, and this is the only photograph that I have, that I took personally, a civilian man stopped me on his own initiatives to interrogate me. Yes, to interrogate me. Because of his love of the country, he turned into a security guard. He thought that I'm planning the possibility of planting a bomb. Yes, a bomb under the streets. In fact, one of the main scenarios put forth concerning the way our ex-prime minister assassinated is that Rafiq Hariri was assassinated is that 1,000s of TNT and exploding material have been planted in the sewers under the street, in the street beneath it. So since then, I personally did not dare to photograph anything related to the streets. I don't want to be in the situation to interrogate me. And this is why maybe I thought about the street lamps, since no one would ask me or doubt like why I'm photographing the sky. Like, who could I assassinate in the sky? Or like, who would like, I would like to assassinate, like putting a bomb on the street lamp above to assassinate. Like, it's strange. No one would ask me. But listen, it never happened. Maybe it's possible in our history in car bombs and in killing and assassination in Lebanon. It could be. It could be. You know, since 2005, Lebanon lived through the nightmare of car bombs. Actually, one can notice the most of the walls in Lebanon are filled with photos of people who were killed by car bombs. These are some of them that you are watching now. And this is a photo appeared in the streets right after the assassination of our Prime Minister, Rafiq Hariri, and before the elections. It shows the ex-Prime Minister standing behind his son. One can see this photo in different sizes hanging all over the country in the streets. I have a collection of this. The assassinated father standing behind his son. It reminds me of Hamlet and the ghost of his father. But I wonder, does the son in this photo know that this is the ghost of his father standing behind him? If not, one might say that the son is not able to see ghosts in a city and in a country full of ghosts, just as Hamlet's mother, who cannot see the ghosts of her husband. So in that case, the son might think that what has appeared behind him is just a photo or a poster hanging in the living room of his father, just like this. Someday, I would like to do a work about this specific poster. Usually, when I finish a work or I'm about to start a work, I return to my personal archive, look through it, read it, rediscover it, looking for a catalyst for my next project. And this is how I came across these photos about the son and the father, the ghost of the father. And this is how I came across this proposal, Cry Me Cats and Dogs. Cry Me Cats and Dogs. So this is in 2001. I had the idea to take a photo of every cat and dog I would find killed by a car in Lebanon. Like statistics shows that each day cars in Lebanon hits between 30 to 60 cats and dogs every day while they are crossing the streets. Yes, 30 to 60 cats and dogs. And my explanation for this phenomenon is that drivers in Lebanon, when they drive their cars, they don't look straight. Actually, they always look side and talk, whatever. While cats and dogs, when they cross the street, actually they don't look left and right before they cross. They look straight. So you imagine. Anyway, this is the first photo that I took for my project, Cats and Dogs, Cry Me Cat and Dogs. And it's not clear, as you see. So I parked my car and I came closer to the corpse of the cats and I took the second photo. And it was also unclear. I thought because there is no much light, enough light. So I turned on the flash in my camera and I took the third photo. And I stopped this project. I was really perturbed. I stopped it. I put an end to it. But the three photos still exist in my personal archive, and I'm always tempted to take a look at them, always. This is the photo that was supposed to be shown in an exhibition, any exhibition, but I never had the chance to show it. So I thought, and I think, this is the time now. So let's see it now. Since 1995, I've been collecting the pictures of missing people that appears in the newspapers. I used to cut them and keep them in a special notebook. And I don't know why I was doing so, but something was attracting me towards these missing people, intriguing me. And I keep asking myself, where could all these individuals have disappeared to? Especially in a country such as my country, Lebanon, too small, where everybody is supposed to know everybody else. And the little that has been written about its society, that it follows the tradition of the family, the tribe, the village, the religious. So I think about it, and in a way, I feel comfortable, in a way. Because, like, no matter how much we control this country, my country, or any country, there will be always holes a person can disappear into, slip through cracks and vanish. possibly commit a crime, and all this without leaving any trace. I think about it, and I think, is the disappeared are a sign of modernity in a city or in a country such as Lebanon that is still looking for its modernity? I don't have an answer for this. But it seems to me that in order to achieve our individuality and our notion of citizenship in Lebanon, there is a heavy price to be paid, such as getting kidnapped or disappearing, getting murdered, or being in a jail, imprisoned, or becoming a martyr. And honestly, I'm not sure that all of these are nearly enough. I show you some photos. These are missings from the newspapers that I collected. This is Sulaiman, Shireen, Hala, Espiro, Katia, Rabia, Abdul Karim, Jamal, Mia, Fuad, Qasim, Suad, Ammoun, Ali, Artin, Hassan, Rahim, Nihami, Fatim, Hassan Wadahir, Firdaus, Jean, Kamal, Ahmed, Sami, Alia, Yusuf, and so many, many others. These are missing people who disappeared after the Lebanese civil wars. Hence, their case has nothing to do with the civil war in Lebanon. Knowing that there were 17,000 missing persons who disappeared during the civil war. 17,000. And to this moment, till today, nobody knows whether they are alive or were they killed, including those responsible for kidnapping and for this civil war, including them. Those responsible prefer that nobody mention this topic at all. Yes, if they could wipe it, destroy it, like disappear it, like wipe it out, they would do this just to make us forget about it. In fact, most of the Lebanese society, most of it, prefers not to talk about this issue, which belongs to the period of the Civil War that already covered, for the most part, by collective amnesia. Yes, by collective amnesia. To forget and to remember, that is what concerns the archive. I'm not telling in order to remember. On the contrary, I'm doing so to make sure that I've forgotten, or at least to make sure that I've forgotten some things, that they were erased from my memory. When I'm certain that I've forgotten, I attempt to remember what is that I've forgotten. And while I attempting to remember, I start guessing and saying, perhaps, maybe, it's possible, probably, it looks like, it seems that, it seems, but this way I reinvent what I have forgotten on the basis that I've in fact remembered it. After an indefinite while, I retell it, not to remember it. No, to make sure that I've forgotten it, or at least parts of it, and so on, so forth. This operation might appear repetitive, but on the contrary, because it's refusal to go back to the beginning. And what know you of beginnings? This way, I keep oscillating between remembering and forgetting, remembering and forgetting, remembering and forgetting till death comes. I'm betting on death to make me rediscover everything anew. Even if it happens that there will be nothing new to discover. This will be in itself my big discovery. Among my unfinished works, I found 6 posters that were supposed to be presented in the city of Vienna. My aim was an attempt to bring the Beiruti kitsch culture to Vienna by presenting Sigmund Freud, the intellectual figure, as a religious man and as a saint and as a leader in Hezbollah. But nobody in Vienna recognized this man as Sigmund Freud. Then I told them, but hey guys, look, this is Freud. Still, nobody reacted. I don't know, maybe they believe that in Vienna and in Austria that Freud is free to be in Hezbollah or Al-Qaeda or Socialist Party or Democrats. It's none of anybody's business. And Freud is free to be whatever he wants to be. It's like his choice. And to be honest, I could not explain it to them further. Then I proposed these postcards to an Jordanian art magazine for publishing them, but they actually refused because they were afraid their government would consider them insulting to Islam and to Khomeini. And the photo might cause them trouble with censorship, as if in Jordan there is no censorship. Anyway, till now, I did not present them in Beirut either, because I could not find any relationship between Freud and us as Lebanese. I mean, why would I portray Freud as a member in Hezbollah? Why? I don't know. Anyway, concerning Freud, he says that the archive has a strong relation to the lapse of memory. Yes. So, according to Freud, initially the archive guarantees the possibility to remember, the possibility to repeat and duplicate. The basic reasons behind the possibility to repeat and duplicate, according to Freud, cannot be separated from the human desire of death. Thus, the desire for destruction, the destruction of self and the destruction of the other. After I presented Looking for a Missing Employee in Beirut, a performance based on documents from Lebanese newspapers in which I tell a true story with the real names of the people involved, many people from the audience started giving me actual files and documents to work on. Yes, like those people from the audience felt that these were worthwhile topics, so they collected information and presented to me to archive and work on them in the future. That's why, and that's how I got my hand on a video that I will show to you in a few moments. This video is on the Mount Lebanon battles that took place between the Lebanese Druze and the Lebanese Maronites in 1983. Yes. During these battles, massacres were committed by each side. No one has talked about this for a long, long time. A friend of mine gave me this video, so I talk about it. Yes. Like it's one of the taboos, big taboos in our country. And he made me responsible about this topic by giving me this videotape. When I played this videotape, I was shocked. I saw corpses strewn across fields, under cars everywhere, piled on top of each other, rotting corpses cut into pieces, burned, split in half, mutilated. If it were not for the teeth, we might not recognize them as humans. I watched this tape once, and I was afraid to get near it anymore, to see it anymore. And I was afraid. And I know that this videotape is there in my apartment, stays with me, lives with me. I hesitated a lot whether I would show you this video tonight or not, to show you how my images burn the eyes. I really hesitated a lot, and finally I decided that, yes, I will not show it to you. I will not show it to you. Yeah, this belongs to my censored archive. Yes, I have a censored archive. But I will show you part of it where a group of the Druze militiamen saluting the unknown cameraman. And by the way, the Druze militiamen actually won this particular battle. So let's watch this video. There's no sound, by the way. Just watch. I've been collecting material for 20 years, 30 years, I don't know. Basically, this material is worthless. Anyone can find, really, anyone can find. As long as you make the effort to collect and to keep it for the future until this material acquires some value, any value. That is how the idea of the archive is constituted. The danger lies, I believe, in the archive becoming the property of one side that can manipulate it as it pleases. In the sense that this side will decide what is worth archiving and what is not, what should be made available to the public and what should not, what remains hidden and what should be destroyed. And the archive, in this sense, is an authority, a big authority on historians and as well as on artists. I think one of the signs of democracy appears when every citizen, with no exceptions, will have the right to see all the contents of any archive that belong to any side and wherever could be. After the Israeli invasion of Lebanon in 1982, the National Resistance Front was born to liberate the occupied land. This resistance was declared and consisted of fighters from the communists and secular Lebanese parties, only communist and secular Lebanese parties. And between 1982 and 1987, And beside the military operations, those resistance fighters started to do suicide operations against the Israeli army, which was still occupying the south of Lebanon. The fighters used to record their testimonies on VHS tapes just before they go to die. The suicide bombers used to start their recording testimonies with the same opening phrase: I am the martyr comrade. I am the martyr comrade. Rabbi Amrou, for example. In fact, I'm always taken by the power of this phrase. I am the martyr. It intrigues me and keeps me thinking of its meaning. I mean, how someone could say, I am martyr, I am dead, it means I'm dead, when he is not or she is not yet dead. And when we will watch the video recording, he or she will be dead, right? So how can we speak about past, present, future in relation to this phrase and to this recording tape when we watch, I am the martyr, I am the dead Rabbi Amrou? Knowing that the purpose of these video testimonies is in fact to be in the archive, to be archived. So how does such documentation represent or deceive reality? In my personal archive, I can find most of these testimonies tapes. I watched them all, but there is only one of them kept haunting me. It was the testimony of Wafa Nuruddin. Wafa Nuruddin. Almost nobody remembers her name today. She was a member in the Communist Party. I would like to show you part of her testimony for a reason that I will tell it to you later. Just let's watch part of this testimony.
لأنه اسم المجموعة مجموعة الشهيدة لولا، وأكثر إن التوجيهات تقديم قتل أكبر عدد ممكن من جنود العدو كي تطمئن الشهيدة لولا في مكان حدوده، ويطمئن شعبنا أن مليون لولا قد تنبت على حد تعبير الرفيق جورج هاو. طلبت من الرفيق إذا بيسجل مش وصية، بل نداء لكل فتاة لكل شاب إنه ما في طريق إلا طريق المقاومة الوطنية، طريق الكفاح حتى تبقى رايتنا مرفوعة فوق. لأنه اسم المجموعة مجموعة الشهيدة لولا، وأكثر إن التوجيهات تقديم قتل أكبر عدد ممكن من جنود العدو كي تطمئن الشهيدة لولا في مكان حدوده، ويطمئن شعبنا أن مليون لولا قد تنبت على حد تعبير الرفيق جورج هاو. طلبت من الرفيق إذا بيسجل مش وصية، بل نداء لكل فتاة لكل شاب إنه ما في طريق إلا طريق المقاومة الوطنية، طريق الكفاح حتى تبقى رايتنا مرفوعة فوق كل تل من تلال هالوطن. ولازم ما نبخل إنه نسقي شهيدة الثورة في الجنوب من دمنا، ولازم نطلب دمنا بدم نهر الليطاني نهر لولا. وأخيرا أشد على أيادي جميع الوطنيين لتبقى البندقية مرفوعة جاهزة لطرد الغزاة الإسرائيليين من أرض وطننا. لازم يعرف كل العالم إنه نحن نحب الحياة، ولأنه نحب الحياة قررنا الموت الاستشهادي. يحيى أطفال لبنان وأطفال سوريا وأطفال فلسطين وكل أطفال الأمة العربية حتى تتحرر آخر حبة تراب من أرض الوطن.
One day I will do a work about the most beautiful smile I have ever seen. Wafa Nuruddin's smile. Since in this world there is not only one suffering, but there is thousands and thousands of sufferings. There is not only one memory, but there is like thousands of memories. There is not only one archive, there is like thousands and thousands of archives. There is not only one experience. There is not only one war. There is not only one enemy. There is not only one friend. There is not only one religion. There is not only one God. There is neither one truth nor one origin, but there is only one death. The archive is not a diary. It seems that we collect archive to cover our daily experiences and to hide behind it. We create an archive of pictures, notes, texts, TVs, all these in order to hide our daily life. We hide behind the archive so no one sees us naked. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Rabia, for this amazing performance. Really beautiful.
Thank you.
We are going to wait for the spectators to come back to our lobby so we can talk with everyone and share thoughts and ideas and everything you want.
Yeah.
So there will be a little bit of a moment to gather these 100 people that were following the performance tonight, people that came to this virtual world from their homes. We see people in the daylight, in the evening. We see people together, people alone. Where are you, Ana Lucia Rodriguez? Where are you?
Where I am in my room.
Where?
Or,
which city? In which?
From Lima, Peru.
Lima, Peru. Oh,
Yeah.
so great.
Hi.
What's the hour now in Lima, Peru?
2 p.m. Like, yeah.
Great. It's great to see you. Where are you? Azadeh Ganje? Azadeh Ganje. Where are you? Where are you?
Tehran, Iran.
Iran. You're in Iran. Wow. So great. What's the time in Iran now?
11:38.
11:38. Wow. Nice to see you there. How
Nice
did you get to know about the performance?
From the Münster Kammerspiele.
Great.
Yeah, because of the quarantine, we were always trying to see most of the performances online. And when we saw this is happening, it was very interesting for us, especially with Rabi. And actually, we saw something from Iran inside. So it was very valuable for us to have the chance.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Wonderful.
Thank you.
We're still waiting for some people to come. I want to know where you are. Where are you, Melanie Joseph?
to unmute.
No, now you're not.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Where are you? Yes, we hear you.
I'm in New York City.
New
and
York
it
City.
is
Wow.
3 o'clock in the afternoon and raining.
It's raining. Have you gone out? Are you going out or are you staying always home?
Today home because it's been pouring rain all day. And I stayed home to watch this and then I'll watch something else later.
Great. We're so happy that you're there. We're waiting for everyone else to come. And then we will start a round of comments and you can ask questions. So this possibility to ask question is down there. There is like, you will see a sign saying participants, and there you can raise a virtual hand, a blue hand. So we know that you want to ask a question. I will start with a question myself, so you can start thinking about what you want to say or ask. I wanted to start saying that this amazing performance in fact, was produced in 2006. And in fact, this is a new version Ravia did for Zoom. And we are very happy to host this performance. In these many years that I've been doing the program, I never allowed anyone before to show an older work. But in this case, it was so much fitting the concept of my documents, this work on the personal archive, that there was no way not to have it. And because I am a big fan of Rabia, and I think he's one of the masters of academic lectures. It was really a pleasure to have it in our program. And I want to know, because you had been, you did it in 2006, and you made all this, you're showing somehow also collections of photos and things you made yourself. And I was wondering if you had been making new collections in the last weeks, months. Is there something that you're now photographing or collecting?
Yes, yes. I never stop. It's like it's something like a lot of artists and people, that it's like you have it and under the skin. So I collect all the time materials, but what is good these days that today we are in this digital age, that the material don't take a lot of space in your apartment. So they take space in your laptops and your hard disk, etc., which is fine. You can manage at some point. Although I still also collect some objects that I found here and there in my apartment, which is also I'm interested in these. Yes.
But do you have like an obsession like the sewers, like something that you're like obsessively photographing?
Yeah, there are some, yes, like today's, for example, I'm obsessed with like collecting photos of families around tables eating.
Okay. Like
I don't know why.
a gathering around the table, families gathering around tables.
If anyone has something to me.
Yeah, great. Then we can get archives from United States, Lima, Iran. That would be amazing. And what do you do with these photographs of like people meeting
but
in
this
a table?
is the issue, that you don't know. It's just like something like this. Like before, like I was collecting photos of people running, just running, running from something. Why, I don't know. It's something related to the period that you live. Like now, like maybe I miss this gathering of families, like around tables. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just now trying to think why I'm doing so, but I prefer not to know why. It's just like I do it, and one day I will know why. But it will be different reason from why I was collecting.
Great. Now I think we can open for the questions or your comments. Please, hi everyone. The bottom of your window, you will find this participant sign, and you can raise your virtual hand, blue hand, that will allow us to see who wants to make a question or a comment. Either if you have any problems like finding this digital hand to raise your hand, you can also do it like this, but it will be more difficult to find you because we have many people. But nevertheless, if you don't find your digital hand and you want to make a question, just raise your real hand. Otherwise, we wait for someone to make a digital blue hand up to ask a question.
I see our friend Claire Verlet. She wants to ask. I saw her.
Okay. I haven't seen
Claire.
her.
Yes, hello, Rabia. I tried to find the blue hand.
How are you?
Yes, fine. I am seeing you from Paris, and I have two questions. One is very simple: is how do you feel like playing in your room? Because it works very efficiently for us, but for you, I mean, knowing that you are alone in your, I want to know how it is. And the second question is that, do you really, at the end, put this archive for good in the, you get it away, gone in the trash?
The first question, I have to confess that since we started to use like this new technologies, I've been used to talk with the camera, or like to talk with the audience through a mediator, which is a camera. I did it like since like many years, like with three posters, with Who's Afraid of Representation, Make Me Stop Smoking. Even like one time, Beirut was and Lebanon was like shut down because of a civil war, short period of civil war in 2008, where I was supposed to go to Japan and I could not make it. So we proposed to them to perform via Skype the show with the audience in theater. So they were in theater and it was projected. But I was talking to a lens, to the camera. Today with the Zoom, I have to say it's different. Even if I'm used to talk with the lens or to talk with the audience through the lens, but there is something different, something very emotional, because the situation that we are all live together in the whole world, it's not only concerning a country or like a region as it was before with my experience. So it's something that we all share, and we know what does it mean today, like we are all locked in our apartments, or if we go out, even like there's no physical contact. And today theaters are opening, but in a very restricted conditions, which are also against theater, the meaning of theater, where like we have to have this encounter like between actors and with the audience. So it's a very emotional moment to me today. For the second question, obviously, no, I don't throw them. It's just the idea. Because I still show the piece since 2006, and I still have everything. But metaphorically, I throw them in the trash. Like metaphorically, I'm done with this material. I don't think about them anymore. Like what to do with this material. I did this piece with this material, so it's done. And this is the purpose.
Thank you, Rabia. I think now that we have a lot of questions, a lot of people wanting to ask a question. Lydia Simke, please.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, where are you, Lydia?
I am in Berlin.
Great.
But in a different part of town, I think, in Moabit. Rabia, this is a question for the near future, maybe. If you make the piece of Hamlet and the ghost father, Hariri,
yes,
who will be 14 brass in your piece?
Who will be?
14 brass.
I don't understand the word 14 bas.
14 Bras is the guy who comes in when everyone has killed each other. So who will be 14 Bras in Beirut?
Who is the killer?
No, who will be the one who may take...
Okay. Okay. Who will be this one? Right. Oh, God. This is a very difficult
question. Wow. It's another Lebanese, right?
Okay.
Very close to Lebanon.
Thank you for this question. I have to think about it. I have no answer now.
I look forward to it.
I will answer you one day. I will always have to think about it. Thanks.
Thank you. There is Wasef Harun.
Yeah, Wasef.
Wasef?
Hi, how are you guys? Let me see if I can unmute here.
Yeah, we unmute you.
Hi, Rabia. Good to see you. We're watching what's happening in Lebanon, and I would love to hear your perspective on the Thawra and where that's going with everything that's going on as well.
Yeah, like I live now in Berlin, but it happened that when the revolution started, luckily I was in Beirut to show a new piece, Borborigmos, but we canceled it because of the revolution, and we were happy to cancel it to have more time to participate in the revolution. Today it's sad, I have to say, because it's going through a very difficult phase, the revolution in Lebanon, but it's not dead. It's still the revolution. It's still there. It's like a fire under the ashes, and it will ignite soon. But now it's very, very difficult phase, very sad phase because of many reasons. Mainly, I give two reasons: is the difficult life economically. It's the country is collapsing, really collapsing. And the second reason is the corona. Everybody knows what's going on with corona. So the country is also in confinement. So the revolution now, it's in a phase where it's dormant, sleeping in a way, but it's there, and it will explode one day. And I hope we will manage to change something radically in the country for the good. I hope so. It's our only hope. And I know now that there is a lot of Lebanese that they are losing the hope. I hope not, because every revolution has to pass through difficult phases. It's not easy. It's not easy to change. We know this from history, but we will change.
So thank you, Rabia. I think there is Tariq Bajwa. Tariq, are you there still?
Hello.
Yeah.
Tariq.
Hello. So we are all Tariq. No, Tariq is our host, and we are many people following your presentation. And I cannot show all of them. But yeah, we took this presentation as a chance to come together. Like,
where are you?
We are in Basel, in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to be honest, we are more than it's allowed to be together at the moment. But I think we are safe. And no, but I wanted to ask you, do you see a difference between an analog archive and a digital archive? Especially in these times, do you feel the difference, or is this something that does not matter so much to you?
In the content, it doesn't matter much, and it matters. Like it's very tricky question. Yeah, to be honest, there is a difference between the analog and the digital. Of course, there is a lot of analog, a lot of different. What, Lena? Lena's saying something. She's distracting me. She's my wife, my partner. What? What? I don't know. She just... Yeah, so I just want to say that there is yes, like between like when I show like a VHS tape and I show like a video that I took with my mobile phone, I know the difference in the quality and the how you feel it. I don't know. This is why I said like sometimes it doesn't matter if it's digital or not, and sometimes yes, and sometimes I play with these differences in some works. Yeah.
Thank you.
Especially,
I tried. Like, it's very complex question, to be honest. But thanks.
Thank Tariq. There is someone in the streaming asking a question. I want to include them also. And it's saying how Marshagal is saying, how does time pass as a performer in Zoom? What is the difference in the perception of time when you're performing in a stage and when you're performing in Zoom?
Yeah, there is difference. It's like I mentioned, like in this presentation, I mentioned like about like how we feel the moment of now. So the moment, you can feel it as a moment and it's gone, and sometimes the moment is like stretched and it becomes like never ending. Come on, and it's a moment. So it's really like in Zoom, I have to say there's a big difference than like performing in a stage in a theater in front of audience. Even if the audience are in a dark and I cannot see them, but I know that they are there because I can hear them. While now in the Zoom, I cannot hear, I cannot see. And the sense and the notion of time is different. It's much more longer. And you don't know whether like what are you feeling? Are you bored, not bored? Like in theater, you can feel this. You can play with it. Like you can accelerate. You can like make it a little bit slower. It's something related to improvisation. And here, like you have to imagine things, and you have to believe with what you are imagining. Otherwise, you lose it. This is what I can say.
Yes. Thank you, Javier. I think there is now Leonor Estrada who wants to ask a question.
Hi.
Leonor? Yeah. Hola, Leonor, where are you?
Hola, I'm in Edinburgh, but I should be in Peru. I'm from Peru. Hi, Rabia.
Hi.
Yeah, my question had to do with the dramaturgy. I felt that the performance had an order that went like from seeking what the sense was in your archive to then kind of like I guess finding that sense and stacking that sense with the different archives. And I wondered if that you felt that was like a reflection of what your creative process had been for this performance, or if it emerged later on as a way to just order what you were doing.
I'm afraid that I didn't get it well, but I will try to answer you, even though it's about it's just like to tell you like the dramaturgy, especially in this piece and of many pieces that I wrote and I presented, is that it's always like it's the kind of material that are not really linked to each other, but they are separated. And the issue is that you can really do the editing in different ways. So, for example, this presentation that I've done now could be also, it works in a different order with the same material. You can just shuffle it. And I'm sure that it will give another way. Now I tried to concentrate like on how like to get you enter from like light subjects, like from the titles, how we name titles, cat and dogs, sewers, etc., to get into like much more heavy topics like the battles in the mountain of Lebanon, for example. This is like my way of doing it, But I know that there are many ways how to do it, and all, I guess, works. It's not like this is better than that one. And this is what I'm interested in, like how you do different editing and it still works in a way.
So sorry, just like a mini re-question.
Yes.
Have you presented it in a different order? If you said you have this
never.
work for a long time.
No, never. But I believe that it could be in different order.
Okay.
I can make it like if I have tomorrow one presentation, I would like do another order. I don't mind.
Thank you.
But maybe laziness. I just have this order. Let's fight with it for now. So it's like.
Thank you, Leonor. We go to the next because there's a lot of people wanting to ask. Isabel Toledo, where are you?
We are in Mexico, in Mexico City.
Hey, hello.
Hello, Mexico.
Hello,
There's a
Ravi.
cat also seeing the performance.
Yeah. Nina.
Great. That will never happen in a theater. That's also special. You can see it with kids, with animals.
In pajama.
Welcome.
Well, Ravi, I was wondering, how do you store your non-digital archive? Like, for example, the pictures you keep in print, do you keep them in boxes? And what about your notes in paper, for example? How does your non-digital archive looks like?
It's really different from one type to another. I have like a lot of photos, printed photos. I have a lot on digital, on hard disk. I have a lot of hard disks. I have a lot of objects. I still use notebooks, write with my handwritings. I like this, and at the same time, I write also on my laptop and have them documents. Personally, I'm still attached, but this is me. I'm still attached to physical objects. Like I still prefer to read books as papers, to have them and like to turn the page, or like to put lines, comments, or like write on notebooks, to see the photo like this. It's me. I don't know, but I have everything.
Okay, thank you.
You, Marianne Peters.
Hello.
Hi,
let me unmute myself. Hi, Ravi.
Hi.
It's Marianne in Seattle.
Yes, how are you? Good?
I'm good. I'm good. I wanted to ask you a little bit, if you would speak a little bit more about the segue between an archive and a diary. And also if you would just elaborate a little bit more about the martyr's smile.
Right. First, like I'm just saying that the archive is not a diary. It's just like an archive, like it belongs to others. It belongs to you. It's part of a diary because it reminds you of a lot of moments, of intimate moments, or like moments in life where you find this, or etc. But it's not a diary. The diary is different, although the diary also doesn't cover your whole life, the entire life. The entire life is an impossibility to write it down. And we know that diaries is like a portion that you choose, or someone choose to put in a book or in a notebook, wherever, when you write a diary. So it's also something that you choose what you want to write as a diary and what you don't want to write, what is worth mentioning and what you not worth, even if it's very personal and you will not show it to anyone, it's just for you, but you still do editing. And when you do editing, for me, you start to enter to the world of fiction. You start editing. This is one issue. And as for the smile of Wafa Nuruddin, it's very meaningful for me and for the persons who knows those people and knows the situation, because like these testimonies on video that are recorded, mainly they are very formal, huh? Right. And usually they don't talk a lot about their personal issues. They address the mass, they address the people, the nation. They talk like as if they are giving a message to all the people. So with this smile, something slipped from the hand of this formality. Something very personal, very intimate, very emotional, and it touches you immediately. And for me, it counts more than all this official discourse that they are trying to speak in this video, and they are asked to speak. So that's it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam.
Good to see you.
Mm-hmm. Here there is Nadine who wants to ask a question. Nadine, where are you?
Hi, Rabia. How are you? I'm in Dubai. You reminded me of Beirut, actually. I got very nostalgic. I don't know if I really have a question, but I wanted to comment that I really loved the way you juxtaposed the timelessness or the idea of the timeless archive with destroying it, you know, and this kind of, I guess, this contradiction between the fiction or the selection of the archive and what we think the archive is in an institutional sense, well-maintained, historical, protected. And I was wondering, because I mean, obviously your performance or your gestures reveal something about your own obsessions and your own collecting practices in order to perform this work. So I guess my question is maybe similar to someone else's. How much is this a personal conflict that goes beyond the collective, the idea of the collective consciousness behind it? How much is it you kind of trying to deal with this amassing of information, filtering through it, and kind of negating time in a sense? Because it's funny, I might have seen this before, I remembered the title, but when I saw it again today, I said, oh, he's talking about now, because especially when you were talking about the past, us needing to look back at the past in order to be in the present, and therefore we are already one step in the future. I said, oh, you know, this is definitely a new work. But then I realized, no, actually, I think I've seen it before. There's a nostalgia. So I don't know if this is very clear, but how much of this is you mediating your own, basically your own archival impulse, right, in your work?
Oh God, this is too much. I don't know. I didn't really get it well, to be honest. The answer, the question, like, can you summarize it in a way, like?
Okay, so basically, from what I understood, the way that you're deconstructing the archive is on a couple of different levels. There's the collective and there's the personal, but also I'm more interested in the post-Freudian time element of it. So the idea of the archive is timeless in many ways. It's a document that remains, whether it's digital or material. The idea in our mind is something that's timeless. But I felt that you were giving it a limited time here. You were trying to destroy the archive. So I'm wondering how much of this performance is actually your own relationship to your archival impulse in your work, your own personal archive, which relates to the bigger archive, you know?
Just let me to respond to what you are trying to evoke. First of all, it depends who owns the archive and who is in power to decide if this archive is expired, it's dead or not. So it's not that the archive is timeless. I don't agree and I agree. It's in both. I don't agree and I agree. Because like, as I said, like every element, whatever it is, every object, whatever it is, and this is like Walter Benjamin's concept of the ruins, how you pick up whatever, and everything is worth archiving and worth to study it, and to not to make something much more important than the other, like to make in history like peaks and valleys. So how to take everything in a linear, equal points. But when you come like to authorities who own this archive and who has the power to decide, then there is expired dates, and there are like documents that has no value at all. You know, like I give an example, like there is a lot of documents between the hands of the Palestinians that they own houses confiscated by Israeli. They have the papers that they own this house and they left it and they have to come back. But these documents is nothing because they are not in power. They are not the authority who decide that this document is good or not, or can take it or not. So in this sense, like, yes, documents have life, and they can dead and they can born and etc. And you never know, because also documents, all the documents, dead and alive, especially the dead ones, all of them are in a latency state. And you never know in what day they will pop up and come to the surface, and they have a value.
Right.
And this is important.
And I mean, just one more thing, what I really loved is the way the institutional critique, because you said, I'm not taking care of this archive like an institution would, you know? So it was almost like a reversal of actually what you're saying, which is much more political. So at some point during your performance, I felt the archive was a human body, because you were saying, you know, it could have so many lives if I took care of it. But it's,
exactly.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great because it really gave me a different perspective of something I've seen. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I will go to Alexandra Ferguson. I will, because we have not so much time left, I will ask Alexandra and the rest that maybe try to summarize so that there is chance for everyone to make a question, because we already have like many hands up, but we cannot stay, we can stay 10 minutes more or something. So yeah, so Alexander Ferguson, where are you?
Hi, I'm in Vancouver, Canada. And you may have answered this question already. It had to do with the last woman and you being haunted by her. I think you talked about it, but I was wondering if you had anything more to say about that haunting. I had a lot of questions in my own mind about the ways in which you felt haunted by her. Maybe you fully answered that, but if you have anything more to say about it.
Yeah, it's like, because there is a lot of things. One of them that I was member of the Communist Party, and I know some of those people who were in the national resistance and who were killed. And I know also that today nobody remembers them and it doesn't count. And also I know that today Hezbollah and the Islamic resistance are controlling everything, and they are changing the history. They are writing the history because they are in power, and they don't recognize what those young resistance fighters really sacrificed and give for the land to liberate. They don't look at them, and they took all the credits for them as Islamist resistance, etc., which is not true at all. It has like a long history. It started with civilian villagers in the south of Lebanon, and then even the Palestinian were in Lebanon, they also contributed in their way, like to liberate the land, etc. So it's a long history. And those people, I know them personally. And this is why, like, I'm so emotional in a way about it, because like they lost their life. And now today you see why. I don't know. It's really sad in a way. It's sad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We have Asade Ganje. Oops. Where are you?
Here.
Yeah,
So,
here.
Yeah, so I grabbed the chance to ask a question. You talked in your presentation in performance about archive as authority. And also you talked about your experience, which showing your archive became a threat for another authority when you send the pictures to Jordan. And so would you all in all think performing archives could be an artistic resistance, regardless of the numbers of your audience? Even keeping these personal archives, is it kind of a artistic resistance? Thank you.
I don't know if like artistic resistance is the correct word, but like it's a resistance for artists like to use in a way. This may be better. I don't know. Yes, sure. Like there are like some documents that are really very powerful in artworks, and let's talk about it. Like documents could be also fabricated, huh? They could be fictionalized, and you can use it, and they could have like a strong power, like as a resistance against another authority. Yeah. And this has happened a lot in the history of art, like to use like fictionalized documents or existing documents against the authority in artworks. So yes, I agree with you totally. Thanks.
Thank you. We have also amazing comments on the chat that I would like to keep somehow because they are very beautiful. Thanks to everyone that is writing and they have to leave, but they are like leaving these wonderful comments. Melanie Josephs, please ask, where are you? And yeah.
I'm right here. I'm just thinking, especially by your answers of these last few questions, that how does the weight of this gesture, the weight?
Oh, we miss you. The sound is muted.
No.
Now it's
oh, there is something.
It's muted. You're okay. Now it's.
No, we turn her on and then she turns herself off without realizing.
Melanie,
Melanie, turn it on yourself because if we do it, then
yes. Now speak. It's fine. No, don't do anything.
Melanie, now can you hear me?
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, fantastic. So, especially because of your answers of the last good questions, I wonder how the weight of this gesture of, I'm going to delete these, I'm going to neuter them so I don't have to think about this anymore. They're not going to be part of my work. And of course, the irony is they are. But how does the weight of this hold for you in repeating this performance over and over? And part of that question is that you do have a certain power as an artist, I think. You're not expiring this, I don't think. You're not expiring this archive. As an artist, you're keeping it alive. But thank goodness, because some of the things you have, nobody else has, and you tell us this. Right. So I guess my question is, how do you keep the repetition of this alive for yourself? And do any of the ideas that you are trashing, that you are expiring, hold for future pieces? I ask this because I'm trying to destroy my archives, and it's driving me crazy.
No, with this specific work, actually, I still enjoy presenting it. It's like real pleasure when I performing it, and each time I do so, there are like some ideas that comes to me every time, and new ideas. And to be honest, like every time I presented it, I feel like it's as if it's the first time for me. It's not like 100 times. When I feel that I'm not interested, I stopped performing it. I stopped a lot of other pieces that I'm tired of them, and I'm not have the pleasure to do them, even if there are a lot of demands to show them. But I'm not interested, so I stopped them. And this is work that I proposed to Lola, actually, because I love this show and I would love to show it again, because it's still inspiring me, myself, not you. I don't know, but at least it's inspiring me. And honestly, I still change every time I do it. I still change, like slight changes every time, which is keeping it alive. And this is why it's still alive. It's not expired yet. I hope not. I don't know. You see. Thank you.
Thank you.
There is Maria Eduarda Macedo who wants to make a question. Where are you, Maria Eduarda? In which part of the world?
Well, I'm Portuguese, and this is my partner Klaus. He's Austrian. We live in Luxembourg. That's where we are now, in Luxembourg. Actually, I think that you may have partly answered to my question just a while ago. So you are doing this performance since 2006. How the performance may be the same or only slightly different, but you are not the same, I guess.
Oh,
so
yeah.
how different are you now from when you started, and how has the significance of you doing this performance has changed for you?
There's a lot of changes, of course, like there's a lot of things that maybe if I would write this performance today, it will not be the same. Especially with the theories and like reflection, it can go in a different direction. But I still keep it as it is, because like it is by itself a document of my work. So when I show it today, it's a document from 2006. Even if I do slight changes, but the slight changes doesn't really change the whole thing. The bulk is still there. But I changed a lot. Of course. And I did not change at the same time. I don't know how to say it, because just yesterday we were talking, me and Lina, my partner, we're thinking like, oh, maybe we can do like part 2 of this piece. Make me stop working with another material of the archive. So it means like it can be like continue after all these years. So it's not yet dead in a way. To be honest, there are some works that I don't come back to them at all, because like I changed totally. Some works are still alive, and I would keep them as a document of my life to share with people, with you. And yeah, but I changed, of course. I'm older.
Thank you.
I'm waiting for the part 2, eh? Looking forward. Eric Friedrichsen, please, we are waiting for your question.
Oh, hi.
Where are you?
Thank you. Yeah, my question was just about the sort of theatrical backdrop, the large test print and the line of photos that I thought could be an artwork like a Wally Rod, or are they part of the project? Are they future projects?
What you have behind you, Rabia, I think he's referring to the photographs you have in your background. Yes. What is it?
These are, these are like something just to put, not to make the wall white. So I put anything just to, for the Zoom presentation. Yeah, it's a template from a book that I did. So it's the proof pages of the pages. But honestly, I did it just like not to have a white wall behind me.
And the photographs behind your shoulder?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
These are like, wait, since we are finished, I will bring them. So we don't have tomorrow. So I don't know if you can see them. So these are
a bit closer to the camera, Rabia,
These are photos from a photographer, Lebanese photographer, Fuad Khouri. So these are like series of photos during the war, the civil war. And he has two cameras with him, one black and white, and one is in color. So it's the same photo. 1 minute later, it's taken with color. So you can see here, and here it's 1 minute later. Here, okay, is it clear or not?
Yes.
And here in color. And let's go for this one. And here it's black and white. Black and white color.
We have 4 minutes left. Esther and Moti, where are you? Is this a landscape behind you? Where are you? Is this a fake background or is a real thing?
No, it's a real thing.
It's our garden.
It's a garden. Wow, lovely.
Yes. Hi, Rabbi.
Hello, hi.
I noticed that at the beginning you were saying about the archive being a future, and you don't want to show a part of the archive that it's past, so you can put the archive, the future into the past. And how does it play for you of playing the same archive for the last 14 years?
No, actually, it's what I said, that the archive is the material that are from the past, and they have the potential to appear in the future. This is the idea, is that this material from the past as potential work for future. But the idea is that when I will present them in the future, they will talk about the present time. So it's like really, it's something that intriguing me, like how one can do a work, like I start a work today, and I will present it in, let's say, in 6 months. And I know that in 6 months, it will talk about the present time in 6 months. So it's a very complex relationship between past, present, and future, no?
You're playing on...
This is the idea. It's just like this.
Nice.
Thank you, Esther and Moti. Sarah Taleb, where are you? In which part of the world? And we hear you. Sarah? Sarah, we are looking for you. Did she disappear? I don't see Sarah. Sarah Taleb, it's called. And she's raising her hand. Maybe she's in the...
Where is she?
I don't know. I don't find her. We don't hear. Yes, Sarah, there are you. Talk to us. We want to hear you.
Okay, Sarah.
We don't hear you, Sarah, you know? Maybe there is something you have to do. Otherwise, you will have to write your question because we don't hear you. For some reason, you are unmuted, but we don't hear you. I think Sarah is trying to write something.
Oh, no, you have to tell me.
Yes, she's in Beirut. I hear now. I see it in the chat.
Sarah is in Beirut.
Sarah is in Beirut and she wants to ask a question that we will read soon. A lot of suspense. The question is coming. Ta -ta -ta -ta. Dun, 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 dun. This is the last question, Sarah. You have a big responsibility, you know. Then we will go out and we will remember your question. I don't want to make any pressure.
Sarah, hi.
Sarah, we don't see your question.
Okay, so maybe she can.
Oh, I just want to give her the chance, but I think we don't see it. Did you type it in, Sarah? Your question? Ah, yes, it's a long one. I was thinking that the main part of the archive is not intellectual but emotional. The video of Wafa instigates pure emotion of overwhelm, but at the same time of anger, because it reminds me of the release of Fakuri. So it made me think, which part of the archive do we release to the public and when? Thank you, Sarah.
It depends on who is dealing with the archive to decide when and what. This is the main issue. Like it depends on what you are concerned with, what are your priorities, what you want to do. So this is what makes this happens today, or you say, no, I don't want to show this or to talk about this. It's about the urgencies as well, choices, etc. So it's different from each person, from each institution, from each country, whatever. It's I have my own concerns, as of course, and this is why I did this choice, and I'm responsible of what I chose and what I presented.
Okay, I think we will have to finish now. There is a small other question, but I think we are now really over the time. It was amazing, this talk, really. We never stayed so long, but I think today it really was amazing, like questions and thoughts. And I'm really, really moved by all these people coming together from all these different places to reflect on history, archives, memory. What do we keep? Why do we keep? It's really very, very beautiful. So now we will say goodbye with a clap.
Thank you so much.
Like a silent clap from everyone, from home, from all these different places of the world. We're so, so moved to see you all here with us. I will put a little music and then you will slowly disappear.
Thank you so much. It was really so
good. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, really.
Truth.